Hey, it's Worth Playboy.
And my Playboys Bunny.
Welcome to our podcast where we discuss pickup, game, relationships, and
Sex.
online dating the right way.
Yeah.
And we're going to focus in on one principle of online dating which will make or break you.
Yeah.
You know, we've talked about the pictures, we've talked about, having a script, having canned openers, how to make things work easiest for you when you're dealing with hundreds, if not thousands, of contacts.
Yeah, exactly.
But what isn't, and I don't ever see any other coaches or anybody in our little world stress it importantly enough that speed is of essence.
Yeah.
You have to move fast with online dating.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
you have to move fast. You cannot take your time and drag it out because one, it's easy to get shoved down in the messages.
Yep.
And two, the longer it takes between the first, contact where you guys actually speak by text or by voice, and when you meet, the less chances of it actually happening are.
Exactly.
So you have to move with a sense of urgency when you're doing online dating. And remember, online dating, the only online part of this is how you make contact with each other.
Right.
It's no different. All the dating happens face to face, like you do. But I do think some guys misinterpret what online dating means, and so they get her number and they drag it out on the app.
Yeah.
And go
Chat
back and
her
forth
up
for a couple days.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, hey, can I get you? Oh, yeah, okay, here's my number. And then, they just never get to the point. They're like, they get frustrated. But you go, how many of these girls have you asked out? And they're like, oh, just like a couple, I guess. And they said no.
Or they ask them out once they've already had all the conversation. You're supposed to save all the get to know you stuff for in person.
Absolutely. I mean, again, think of online dating the same as if you ran into them at a supermarket.
Yeah.
You're just getting the information to make an exchange.
Yeah.
Then you get together. The faster you can get together, the better you'll do.
Sex sells best knee to knee.
Yeah, you cannot. And the guys that do get this, they do better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if all things being equal, when they start throwing out, and we've talked about this before too, because I really want to stress that you need to be fast with this stuff, is the more you talk, the more things you say, the longer you drag it out, the more likely you'll step on your dick.
Yeah.
You'll say something that just rubs her just the wrong way, and it could be temporary, it could be hormonal, it could be anything.
Yeah.
And she's gone.
Exactly.
So when you do, the longer you're out there and you haven't met up, the less likely you will.
That's right.
So speed is of essence, especially with online dating.
Yeah.
It's
true.
And it's no different than we know that a girl that sleeps with you on the first date has a higher desire for you than the girl that sleeps with you on the 8th date.
Exactly.
So we know there's certain fundamentals, and this is one of those that's not talked about enough.
Now, let me ask you something that, just to kind of get clarification, because I feel like a lot of guys kind of get lost in the weeds here. So when it comes to text game, once you're kind of dating a girl, you have her in the rotation, you've fucked her a few times, we talk about kind of less is more, okay? So we talk about holding off, not responding right away, pacing yourself, the whole less is more thing. I will say with online dating, it's almost like an immediacy is best, and we talk all the time about online dating could be a full-time job if you're building a rotation, stuff like that. It's kind of it's one of those things that takes up as much time as you will possibly allow it to. So it will take over your life if you're not cognizant and aware of really the time constraints that you have. But what are your thoughts on the response times and the conversation times. I know quickness is important, but like as far as varying your response times or any of that in the online dating, like messaging steps.
Don't get rid of your fundamentals. But again, you're trying to get this done in as few messages as possible.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I mean, and that is one thing that I tell intermediate and advanced guys that are getting bored with it.
Yeah.
See how little you can do.
Exactly.
But if you're in the beginning, you have to feel a lot of these things out. So you kind of have to learn your rhythm.
Sure.
But again, you don't have to worry about response times when basically it's one conversation on the app and then one conversation on text, and then you're in front of each other.
But I think that's my point. Like in the conversation in the app, in that first conversation,
yeah,
are you conversational? Are you back and forth pretty consistently?
Yeah, you want to get the ball rolling and get her off the app.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be each time you speak with her in the beginning, you should have a goal in mind for that conversation.
Right.
Does that make sense? I mean, you're never building comfort. It's not rapport. It's simply to kind of get her talking and get her number.
Yeah.
You reach out to her phone and you want to set up a date. That's the only reason you reach out to her.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I mean, anything else is a waste of your and her time.
Exactly.
I mean, even girls, and that's one thing you can say where like girls will stay on the app and they'll be like, well, I just kind of want us to talk on this app. Don't you want to meet up?
Yeah.
Well, you want to get rid of the no girls as fast as possible.
Exactly.
And these girls, there's girls that are truly afraid.
Yeah.
And that's not your job to like talk them into it.
No, any sex that you have to talk somebody into is not sex worth waiting for.
Yeah. Any girl that's like afraid to get off the app, man, you don't have time for that.
No. Because
there are 10,000 other girls on that app that will gladly go, here's my number.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So speed is of the essence. Speed is truly the difference between you getting in front of more girls, getting laid by more girls, getting dates with more girls, not necessarily in that particular order, and just playing thumb wars, with your phone all the time.
And just remember, you have to make sex happen.
Yeah.
It is 100% on you.
Yeah.
She is along for the ride. And the more you take the lead, the easier, the more comfortable and they are in following you.
Absolutely. If you feel like you are in an area where you aren't surrounded by a bunch of guys you can talk to about this, if all of your buddies are already married and they all married their high school sweethearts, if you're the only one who's gone through a divorce and none of your buddies, they're all, married and, aren't looking at starting over or whatever, you don't have anybody to talk to about this stuff. You don't have anybody to talk to about pickup. You don't have anybody to talk about game. You don't have anybody to talk about, like, keeping relationships fucking hot instead of just letting them kind of fizzle into horrible, horrible land. Get on Fort Worth Playboys Evergreen VIP membership. It is one set price for every book that he's ever published, and apparently some of my books also. But I would say there's so much value in that. But on top of that is this whole value add of a mastermind group that's done through Discord. It is active and a great place where you're not going to be jacked with. Like on social media platforms, they are public platforms. You get a lot of like, girls ain't shit, all of this kind of stuff. That's not what we're here for. We're here for making sure that you understand the way that girls operate so that you can have a better life, be surrounded by girls who want to be in it and are enthusiastic for you, and ways to just improve your quality of life through fitness, finances, and fucking across the board. So Fort Worth Playboys Evergreen VIP program is everything he's ever published, everything he ever will publish, plus an active Discord community. So it is worth every penny. It pays for itself in droves, even just in the publications that you get right off the bat. So, do you have anything to add to that?
It's great, baby.
I love it. If you like this podcast, please like, subscribe, please share with your friends. If you have stories to tell about times where you were almost shocked how quickly you were able to move a girl from stranger to in your bed, we want to hear it. If you have ever been shocked by how quickly you were able to move a girl off an app in so few steps, we want to hear about it. If you've ever stepped on your own dick because you wanted to chat her up and get to know her for like 8 years before you even tried to get her off the app, shame on you. We want to hear about it so we can reprimand you. In all things, we want you to win.